African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of August 11, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to conduct a special military operation. Units of the North Group of Forces inflicted losses on the manpower and equipment of the mechanized, Ranger, 2 airborne assault brigades, an airborne assault regiment, 2 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Sadki, Stepnoy, Andriivka, Varakino, Pershi-Travnya, Lunacharskoye, and Lunacharskoye in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, units of the mechanized, motorized infantry brigades, assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and 2 territorial defense brigades were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Silonikovo, Novaya Kazakia, Katnai, Kredianka, and Melov in the Kharkiv region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost up to 170 servicemen, 2 combat armored vehicles, 18 cars, 2 field artillery guns, an electronic warfare station, and 2 warehouses of material. Units of the West Group of Forces took up more advantageous lines and positions. Formations of 3 mechanized and assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Chernyshkina, Kupiansk, Petrovskoye, Borovskoye, Andriivka in the Kharkiv region, and Shandrigolovo in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy's losses amounted to 225 servicemen, 2 US-made Max Pro and UK-made Snatch armored combat vehicles, 17 vehicles, and 2 NATO-made artillery pieces. A Croatian-made RAK-SA-12 multiple launch rocket system launcher, a Plaston electronic reconnaissance station, 4 Israeli-made Rada RPS-42 radar stations, and 5 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the Southern Group of Forces improved the situation along the front line. The manpower and equipment of 4 mechanized brigades, a mountain assault brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a Marine brigade, and a territorial defense brigade were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Malotaranovka, Fedorovka, Svyatogorsk, Seversk, Minkovka, Vasyokhovka, Chervon, Zvanovka, and Kleben Byk of the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost more than 200 servicemen, a US-made M113 armored personnel carrier, 4 combat armored vehicles, 2 pickups, 2 field artillery guns, 2 electronic warfare stations, a counter-battery radar station, and an ammunition depot. Units of the Center Group of Forces, as a result of active operations, completed the liberation of the settlement of Lunacharskoye in the Donetsk People's Republic. For mechanized, Ranger, Assault, Airborne Assault Brigades, 2 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 2 brigades of Marines, a Territorial Defense Brigade, 2 brigades of the National Guard and a joint brigade of the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Ukraine were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Dmitrov, Dobropoli, Rodinskoye, Yudaknoy, Artemovka, Krasnoarmysk, Grodovka of the Donetsk People's Republic, Novopavlovka, and Filia of the Dnipropetrovsk region. The losses of the Ukrainian armed formations amounted to 410 servicemen, 5 combat armored vehicles, 11 cars, 5 field artillery guns, and an electronic warfare station. Units of the East Troop Group continued to advance deep into the enemy's defense. Defeated personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized, mountain assault brigades, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Zeleny, Alexandrat of the Donetsk People's Republic, Sosnovka, Velikomichailivka, Tycho, Voron of the Dnipropetrovsk region, Olivsk, and Poltavka of the Zaporizhia region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost more than 255 servicemen, 5 armored combat vehicles, and 11 cars. Units of the Dnipro Troop Group inflicted damage on formations of a mechanized brigade, 3 coastal defense brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Primorsk, Modelinivka, Orikhiv, Novodanilivka of the Zaporizhia region, Mykolsk, Kazatsky, and Antonivka of the Kherson region. Up to 75 Ukrainian servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 14 cars, an artillery gun, 7 electronic warfare stations, and an ammunition depot were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the armed forces of the Russian Federation troop groups struck assembly and storage sites of long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, ammunition depots of the armed forces of Ukraine INE, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 140 areas. Air defense means shot down 7 reactive projectiles of the US-made HIMARS multiple launch rocket system and 312 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, destroyed 665 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 76,497 unmanned aerial vehicles, 625 anti-aircraft missile systems, 24,539 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,585 multiple launch rocket system combat vehicles, 28,387 field artillery guns and mortars, 39,500 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.